Okay, let's make a start. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وهالا وفهما في الدين يا رب العالمين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. So we begin the lesson with some revision. Um, so obviously there's only two of you online at the moment, and for me they're here. So I'm at your disposal. You guys can tell me what you want to cover. Fawzia, Naima, anything specific. I would rather you guys tell me than me just do a random thing.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustadh. Can we carry on with the verbs? I think we did past tense split revision last.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do the verbs whilst no one else is here. So it's really important with verbs. Generally, just a quick reminder with Arabic. If you find that you're struggling with Arabic at the moment, it's probably one of two reasons. One is genuinely you're struggling, meaning you're finding it really, really hard, and language is not easy. But I don't think that's usually the main reason. The main reason is when you fall behind. And when you have to catch up on recordings yourself and you've missed the main lesson or you missed the live session is never the same as the recording, for whatever reason. So try and keep up and try and ask questions, and try and send me recordings as well with the verb especially. So when it comes to verbs, so remember we have three types of words in the Arabic language, right? Always come back down to that breakdown. You have ism, you have fi'al, and we have harf. So far we've mainly been focusing on the ism, right? When we came on to the verb, what's the Arabic term for verb? This is also important. What's the Arabic term for verb? Fawzia, what's the Arabic term for verb?
I can't remember on the top of my head. I thought I knew it.
This is why revision is really important. This is the first thing we learned. The first
fi'al.
fi'al, yeah. This
Yeah,
is the
fi'al,
first
yeah.
fi'al. This is really important as well. The what name we give the oops. So it's called, so try and remember this. This is really important. So we have fi'lun, all right? Fi'l is the term that we use for verb. Right? So we're using the term fi'l for verb. Now in English, when we say a verb, give me an example of a verb in English.
Walking.
That's pronoun.
Okay.
Yeah, walking, right? Walking, eating, smiling, whatever, right? These are actions, okay? So in English, when we say the verb, it's just the verb, meaning it's an action, okay? In Arabic, when we use the term fi'l, it's not only the verb, it's verb plus the doer. So when we say a verb in the Arabic language, meaning the fi'l, for example, we say the word, the verb ba. It doesn't just mean going. It really means he went. So what two parts have you got? You've got the action, which is to go, right, went, right? And you've also got the one who's doing the action. Okay? In English, when we say verb, it's just the action. Walking, right? With no doer attached to it. You can attach the doer, but the doer would be separate. But in Arabic, when we say dhahaba means he went. Okay? So when we say the fi'l in Arabic, it's got the doer with it as well. The doer isn't separate. In English, it's separate. In Arabic, the doer is with the verb. Okay, so make sure you remember that. That's really important. Okay, so we have two types of verbs. We have the past tense and we have the present tense. Okay, so for now, we said we're focusing on verbs or fi'ls which have 3 letters. Okay, verbs can have more than 3 letters, but we're focusing on verbs which have only 3 letters. Okay, so if we look at the verb here, ذهب, how many letters are there? 3, right? How many letters do you see in the word fi'al? 3. Okay, so you see, fi'al is made of fa, and it's made of ayn, and it's made of lam. All right. So when we describe verbs, we describe it with fa, ayn, lam. What do we mean when we describe verbs by fa, ayn, lam? When you look at fa, ayn, lam in fi'al, the fa comes first, the ayn comes in the middle, the lam comes last. So we say the dha here is the fa kalima, the ha is the ayn kalima, the ba is the lam kalima. When we say fa kalima, ayn kalima, lam kalima, it just means we're describing which position the letter is in. Okay? So for example, Fawzia, if I said to you the verb daraba, right? Can you tell me in daraba which is the ayn kalima?
Ra.
But Naima, what's the lam kalima?
Ba.
And Famida, which is the fa kalima? Dad. Okay, so this may not be relevant now. It's going to become very relevant soon.
No, it's already making sense
Yeah,
because I think when you kept saying fa kalima,
yeah,
I was trying to
yeah,
figure it out myself, and
yeah,
you've made it clear. Thank you.
yeah. But later on, you'll see why this terminology is really important because I'm gonna keep saying fa kalima, ayn kalima, lam kalima. So when I say that, it just refers to the position of the letters in the verb. Okay, fa, ayn, lam. So now if I say to you when we do 3-letter verbs, now if you look at this, da, ra, ba, dhahaba, and I give you one more. These are just some observations before we get into the chart. Sami'a. Now, when you look at those 3, which kalima is different?
Meme.
Yeah, no, yeah. So in the verb sami'a, the meme is different, and the meme is which kalima?
Ayn.
Ayn kalima. Okay. So now this is the rule that you need to remember. When you're doing past tense, the fa kalima and the lam kalima will remain the same. Meaning what? They will have a fatha on them. Okay? The only thing that's going to change is the ayn kalima. So the ayn kalima sometimes might have a fatha, may have a kasra, or it may have a dhamma. Okay, so daraba, dhahaba, sami'a, and an example of where you have dhamma on the ayn kalima is karuma. So when you look at dhahaba, sami'a, karuma, daraba, the only thing is the ayn kalima, the middle letter is changing. Dhahaba, sami'a, karuma. At the moment, you don't know whether the ayn kalima is going to have a dhamma, fatha, kasra. You just learn it as you go along. Or once you learn how to use a dictionary, you can use a dictionary to figure out whether it's going to be u, a, or e. But what do you know for sure? The beginning, which is the fa kalima, and the end, which is the lam kalima, will always have a fatha. Okay? It's just the middle letter that's changing. This only applies to verbs which have 3 letters. Okay? We're only talking about verbs which have 3 letters. Okay? And one last thing before we move on is when I give you a verb in the Arabic language, I'm always giving you the huwa version. What does that mean?
He, like
Yeah.
he. I think
He,
something he did, or he
yeah,
slept. And I
yeah.
think you said this Ismul Ishara or something last week. If it's
Yeah, Ismail
plural.
Ishara is Ismail Ishara is a different conversation. But when it comes to verbs,
Mhm.
when you learn the verb in the Arabic language, whichever book you're reading of Arabic, they will all, or if you ask someone, how do you say to eat? They will always give you the huwa version. They're not going to say, they're not going to give you the ana version or the hiya version or the antum version. They'll always give you the huwa version. And the dictionary will always give you the huwa version, which is basically dhahaba, sami'a, karuma, daraba, and any other verb. Okay? So just bear that in mind that whichever verb you come across, it will always be the huwa version to begin with, which means in the case of dhahaba, he went. Okay? Right? So now with past tense, what do we learn about past tense? We're changing the endings to change the doer. Okay? So your verb is always ذهب. Now sometimes we don't want to say he did something. We want to say both of them did something, or they did something, I did something, you did something, we did something. So how do we do that in the Arabic language? We keep the verb, which is ذهب, and we change the ending. Okay? So this is where your pronoun chart is really important. The huwa, the huma, the hum, the hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu.
Does the original, well, here, when I'm looking at this chart,
Mhm.
the original words there, they're just adding,
Yeah.
it's just an added verb.
So
Yeah.
in your book,
The chart, yeah.
you have
Like you have daraba,
yeah
then you've got the 3 letters in daraba.
yeah
Then
that's
you added the a for huma, daraba,
yeah. So you start off with the huwa,
Mm.
and then you make additions to the huwa part. So, for example, if we look at this now, rather than me writing it down. So we've got daraba, all right? Daraba means he hit, okay? Now, if I want to say both of them hit, so which is the next pronoun, huma, okay? Huma you don't need. But huma will help you remember that daraba means huma. Basically, both of them. Huma means what? Both of them. What is
So you would never say like
huma daraba?
hum darab,
You don't need to say that.
huma darab.
No, you don't need to. So the reason we're saying huwa daraba, huma daraba, hum darabu, hiya darabat is to remind you who the doer is. So when we say daraba, daraba means he hit without the huwa. Huwa is just telling you that the doer is he. You don't even need huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna.
So like you were explaining that the word, the fi'l always comes in the he.
Yeah.
version.
And the fi'l always has the doer with it, right? So it's not simply as hitting. Daraba means he hit. So I want you to think of the pronouns as your training wheels, right? When you're ready to let go of the training wheels, you don't need to say huwa, huma, hum anymore, all right? It's just to remind you, if you know, so if you don't know your pronouns, you're not going to see the importance of saying huwa, huma, hum. If you know your pronouns, then you will know that why we're using the pronouns before. Okay, so huwa daraba is telling you the doer of daraba is huwa, which means huwa means he. When you say anta darabta, that's reminding you that the doer in darabta is anta. which means you. Okay, so let's go through the chart first. So daraba, to go from he hit to both of them hit, you add an alif to it. So daraba becomes daraba. So if I had sami'a, sami'a would become sami'a. Okay, to go from both of them hit to they hit, what we're adding to daraba, we're adding the u at the end. Okay, so daraba, daraba, darabu. Okay, then the next pronoun is he. Sorry, not he, she, here. And the way to remember here, I always remember it this way, is that it has to have an at sound at the end. So daraba, you take daraba and you add ata at the end. So it becomes darabat. Now, based on the recordings some of you sent, the ones that you were struggling were with is this one here, the feminine huma. Okay, so how do you do this one? You take darabat. Once you form darabat, all you're doing to this one is you're adding an alif and then you're putting a fatha on the ta. So darabat, darabata. So I found quite a few of you were struggling with this one here. Darabat, darabata. And then hunna, once you get to hunna, can someone remind me, how do we form darabna? How do we form darabna?
You just put the sukoon on the third
Sukoon
letter. Third
onto-
letter.
Yeah. So you take the huwa version, which is daraba,
Yeah.
add a sukoon at the end, which becomes darab, and then you use the pronouns to help you. So you take the ending of the pronouns here. So hunna has got a na at the end. Hunna. So you say darab,
Nah.
na. Anta, the ending of the anta is the ta. So you say anta darab ta. Antuma darabtuma. Antum darabtum. Anti darabti. Antuma darabtuma. Antunna darabtunna. The only thing that's different is ana. Ana, you don't take the ending of ana, you just say darabtu, and then nahnu darabna. So it's really important when you're reading the nahnu version and you're reading the hunna version that you pronounce the alif. Otherwise, what will happen? Darabna, darabna. What's the difference between the two? Just the alif. So, darabna, darabna. So make sure you pronounce the alif. Otherwise, it's going to sound exactly the same. Okay? Did you get that for me then?
Yeah. The hunna is
Darabna,
and the
nahnu is
darabna.
darabna. Just make sure you pronounce the alif in that. So let's go around now. So use that chart for me there, and you do the verb sami'a. So do sami'a.
Samia,
Yeah.
Samia, Samiu,
Mm-hmm.
Iya, Samiat,
Mm-hmm.
Huma, Samiata,
Yeah.
Hunna, Samiatna.
No, this is the other mistake that people were
Yeah.
making. Hunna, so what? How do we form, this is really important. How do we form the hunna version? The hunna version, you go back to the huwa version. The huwa version was what?
Samia,
Sami'a. Add a sukoon at the end. Sami'. Then you add the noon.
Sami'na,
Sami'na. Yeah.
Sami'na,
Then anta.
Anta, Sami'ta,
Yeah.
Antuma, Sami'tuma,
Mm-hmm.
Antum, Sami'tum,
Yeah.
Anti, Sami'ti,
Good.
Antuma, Sami'tuma, Antunna, Sami'tunna,
Good.
Ana, Sami'tu,
Good.
Nahnu, Sami'na.
Good. So with most students, it's the huma part, the feminine one, the hunna part that they struggle with. Once you can cross hunna, then it's easy from there. Okay? Just remember, for hunna, you go back to the huwa version, add a sukoon at the end, and then add the noon, and that will give you the hunna version. Fawzia, if you could try the verb dhahaba.
What page are we on, or should I just look at this chart in front of us?
If you don't have the printout with you, if you
No,
have
I
the
got it
print,
done. This
yeah,
week I was just getting all these printouts done, so alhamdulillah, I've got
so
all
34. 34. If you look
20.
at 34, and that will help you go through the chart. But the verb is dhahaba.
Okay, let me just try it on the because I don't. The ذهب, ذهبا, ذهبوا, ذهبت, ذهب, ذهبتا,
Yeah,
ذه, ذهبنا,
dhahabna.
ذهبت, ذهبتما, ذه, ذهبتم.
No. So remember, once you get to hunna, you're in a pattern of dhahabna, dhahabta, dhahabtuma, dhahabtum, dhahabti, and so on.
Yeah, ذهبت, ذهبتما, ذهبتم, ذهبتي، ذهبتما، ذهبتن، ذهبت،
Mhm.
ذهبنا.
Good. So what you need to do, for those who are struggling, do it like this. Do it with the chart first, then get to a stage where you're doing it really quick by looking. Then you memorize it. By the time you've done it, by the time you've read it so many times, you're gonna have already memorized it. But memorize it after that. Then the last step, which we're not, I think, ready for yet, is that you're able to move across the chart in whichever manner you want. So, for example, what do I mean? I give you the pronoun, for example, I say to you, ana, and I give you the verb shariba. What are you going to say? Ana sharibtu, right? I don't want you to be going through like the whole chart to say the ana version. I don't want you to say huwa shariba, huma shariba, hum sharibu, hiya sharibat, anta sharibta, antuma sharibtuma. Oh, ana sharibtu. In the beginning, you might do that, but you have to come to a stage where, and you will come to that stage where you're not having to read the whole chart. In the beginning, you need to take the baby steps, look at the chart, read it, then memorize it, and then make flashcards and test yourself like that. Have the pronoun, have the verb, and then just make these combinations. Inshallah, you'll get it. But the first step is just learn the chart. And if you haven't learned the pronouns by now, please learn the pronouns. Okay, the pronouns are really, really important. Okay, let's before we start the main lesson, let me just see who's online. Okay, inshallah. Yeah. So for now, these sessions, the first half an hour will just be the revision until I think everyone's up to scratch. And then please utilize Ramadan. I think we only have another two lessons after this. Utilize Ramadan to catch up. If anyone needs extra sessions during Ramadan to catch up, we'll do that as well. But by the time we start after Ramadan, I need everyone to be on the same page, so that we can continue with the reading. And I just want to show you quickly in the Quran. Let's just it might be a bit difficult at the moment, but let me see. All right, let's look at the surah Alam Nashrah. Okay, and I want you to look at the second ayah. Okay, and tell me in that second ayah whether you see a past tense verb there.
uh,
ووضعنا.
Okay. وَوَضَعْنَا. So the first wa is extra. The first wa is just means and. وَضَعْنَا.
وضع
So what's the actual verb?
نحن
وَضَعَ. Okay. So the verb is وَضَعَ. هو وضع. هما وضعا. هم وضعوا. هي وضعت. هما وضعتا. هن وضعنا. This is not hunna though. This is نحن
نحن
وضعنا. Okay. So wada'a means to kind of put. So wada'na, we. Well, here the meaning is slightly different because of anka. Again, look at the next few ayahs and tell me whether you see any other verbs that are like wada'na.
رفعنا
رفعنا.
Rafa'na, yeah. Rafa'na is again, what's the huwa version?
رفع.
رفع
رفع. هو رفع. هما رفعا. هم رفعوا. And then when you get to hunna, it's رفعنا. Okay. So we will do more of this at some stage, but we have to do the basics. And one more, if you look at second to last ayah, can you see one there?
رفع.
فرغت. Good.
فرغت
فرغت. What pronoun goes with فرغت?
أنت
And say again, just it's about listening and about hearing these sounds. Anta, faragta. So faragha means to be like, to be done with something. So faragta, once you are done, faragta, fansab. Wa ila rabbika farghab. Okay. So inshallah we will do more of this, but I can only do this when you're putting in the time for the stuff that we're learning. So inshallah, I think we're ready. Next week, I think we'll kind of go through past tense again. So again, those who are okay with it, join at 10 o'clock. But next week we'll do the past tense of it again, and then we'll move on to the present tense. Okay, so that we've done this before Ramadan. And this is what I just did now is something that you need to do in your own time. It might be difficult to find it at first. You just have to go through ayat of Quran and then try and stop yourself and find like khalaqna. You're gonna see this pattern, repeatedly. So inshallah.
So should we just try to look for verbs when we're reading the Quran? So that's the first sort of step.
Not only verbs, everything
Everything.
everything that you learn. So for example, when I started learning myself, I would look at alaqin, or alaqin's got in at the end, right? Then I would ask myself, why has it got alaqin? Because the default is what? Alaqun, right? Every ism should be unless there's a reason. So you have to get into the habit of asking questions yourself. And then it may take you an hour to find the reason in the beginning. And then after a while, it'll just take you a couple of seconds. So that's initial struggle you have to, as a student, get through first. Before coming to me, before you come to me and ask me, why is this, exhaust yourself first, because it's in that exhaustion you'll find your answers first and you'll become a bit more firm. So min alaqin is jar, right? And possibly because of the min. So this is what we're going to be doing today now. Okay. So today's lesson is on fragment number 2. Fragment number 1 was what? Ismul Ishara and Badal. So what do we mean by fragments if we take one step back? We're putting 2 or more words together without making a sentence. What's the difference between a fragment and what's the difference between a fragment and a sentence?
No ism.
No is, right? When I say this is a book, I've given you a sentence. When I say this book, or I say the new book, or I say in the book, none of those 3 are sentences. right? I can make them into sentences, right? I can say this book is new. The new book is expensive. In the book are pictures. I've made them into sentences now. But initially, when I say this book, the new book, in the book, none of them are sentences. But they are 2 or 3 words coming together, which is what we're learning. So when we did the first fragment was about these two. This is a book versus this book. So we said, how do we say this in the Arabic language? We use the pointer, which is what we call in Arabic ismul ishara, the ism of pointing. So we say hada, and we have the word kitab, right? So we can use the word hada and the word kitab to either make a sentence or a fragment. How do we make the fragment?
We add al before the kitabun and then
Yeah.
change the bun to, well, the al changes the bun to a bu.
Good. And the way I want you to say the rule is the ismul ishara has to be followed by an al. It's okay to say the word kitab and it's have the al because I've only given you one word. But if I gave you multiple words, the rule would be the ismul ishara or the word after the ismul ishara, the word immediately after the ismul ishara has to have an al. If there's no al, for example, if I said hada kitabun and then the next word after it had al, it wouldn't be ismul ishara and badal. So if I want to say this book, I take kitab and I say hadal kitabu. Okay, now this means this book. If I want to make it into a sentence, I say hada kitabun. Al and no al is the difference between the sentence and a fragment. Okay. So when we say hadal kitabu, what two types of words are we bringing together?
Alif and Lam.
No. So it's ismul ishara and another word.
Badal.
Not badal.
The ism.
Isms. Okay. So in the Arabic language, we have how many types of words?
3.
3. I repeated it in the beginning. We have ism, we have fi'al, and we have harf. So hada is an ism and al-kitab is an ism. So this fragment that we're learning, what 2 words are coming together? An ism and an ism. Okay, so remember that. Because the next fragment that we're learning is called jar majroor. Okay, we're going to go into this. What do we mean by jar majroor? But this fragment, 2 different words are coming together. How many types of words are there in the Arabic language? 3. What are they?
Harf.
Doing the word ism, fi'al, harf. Okay. In this type of fragment, you've got a harf and an ism coming together.
Okay.
It's a harf and an ism. So we're bringing words together and we need to know which words we're bringing together. So in the first fragment, it was ism and an ism. Okay. And those 2 ism were ismul ishara and then the second word had an al. Okay. This next fragment, we're bringing a harf and an ism together. And this fragment is called jar majroor. We're going to explain and go into what do we mean by jar majroor in a moment. Okay. Now, what's the definition of a harf that we gave? Lesson 1, right in the beginning.
Is it letters or what?
So everything else that wasn't an ism or fi'l.
That's an easy definition to say, but it's not. It doesn't really tell me what what a harf is?
It is a word that makes no sense unless other word comes after it.
Yeah. So it's a word which makes no sense on its own unless something comes after it. It needs something else coming after it. Okay. So for example, these are words like in, on, from, to. Harfs are usually either one letter or two letters. They're really small words, okay? And it needs something to come after it. For example, if I was to say, the boy is in. The boy is in what? It needs another word after it to make sense. So I say the boy is in the masjid. I am going to. And if I stop there, I am going to the masjid. Right? So it needs something coming after it. Now, there are different types of harfs that we're going to be learning. But in this lesson, we're learning something called the harf of jar. Okay? Now, the good thing about the harf is that usually the name that it's been given will tell you the kind of effect that it's going to have or the role it's going to have. So what do we mean by that? So we have harf of jar, we have harf of nasb as well. What do we mean by jar and what do we mean by nasb?
The case ending.
The case ending, right? So harf of jar is telling me that it's going to make the next word jar. Harf of nasb is telling me that it's going to make the next word nasb. So the name that the harf has been given will tell you the role that the harf is playing in the sentence. Okay. Once we do a bit of practice and we figure out what the harf jars are, where it'll make a bit more sense. So we're focusing on harf jar. What are the harf jars? If you guys remember, we did a little practice session. We said, yeah.
wow. Min fi an ala hatta hila.
So again, if you haven't learned the things that you should have learned by now, this is going to feel like it's too much. I don't expect you to learn it just like that. It would be very nice if you can. But the way we learned it was bata kaf lam waw min fi an ala hatta ila. You just have to repeat it. If you get into the habit of just reading things, repeating them, and without much effort, you'll memorize. Even if you struggle to memorize things, usually you'll be able to do this. Bata kaf lam waw min fi an ala hatta ila. All of these are your harf jar. You can see when you look at them, it's either one letter or two letters. You might find three letters, but usually it's a one letter or a two letter word. The first five that you see, when we said bata kaf lam waw, we were saying the letter without the haraka on it. Okay? So when we say ba is the letter. We've not said bu, or we've not said ba, or we didn't say b. So we need to learn what haraka to put on ba, the ta, the kaf, the lam, and the waw. So we're going to do that. When we say min fi an ala hatta ila, that's how you will pronounce those words. So min is going to be min, fi is going to be fi, an is going to be an, ala is going to be ala, hatta is going to be hatta, and ila is going to be ila. From those, how many are there? 10? 11? Okay. So from those 11, are there any that you've seen before?
Yeah.
Which ones?
All of
them.
You've seen them all? Min? What's the meaning of min?
From.
Min is very common. Min. Fi is also very common. In.
Which.
Ala is also very common.
One.
Yeah. So give me an example of where you read ala. Yeah. Salli ala Muhammadin. So ala, we're going to go through the meanings in a moment, but just the ones that are very common. Min is very common. Fi is very, very common. Ala is very common. And the ba is very common. Maybe ila as well.
What about wow as well? That's quite common. Wow.
Actually, all of them are common then. So, but the ones that you don't really see much of are hatta. Ka, you don't really see much of. Lam, you will see quite a lot of. So, most of them, yes, you will see them quite a lot. Some more than others. But I want you to guys to look at the Surah Fatiha for me in a moment. So, you know, when you see these harfs, they will make, so what will come after these harfs? Yeah. So these words, these harfs that you see, will come before an ism. Okay? And it will make the ism jar. Okay? So if you have the word Muhammadun, it will become Muhammadin. If you have the word Kitabun, it will become Kitabin. If you see one of these 11 before it. Okay? So let's do, let's see which example is given. I'll change. So let me do another example. If I do, let's stick to the word kitab. What is the difference between min and an, as both sometimes translated as from? Min is usually used for an. Sorry, min is, I don't know why I said that. Min is usually used to mean from. An maybe sometimes, but an is depending on which verb it's being used with. An can also mean with as well. So, for example, when you say radiyallahu an, right, that means may Allah be pleased with. So, depending, this is something that we're going to learn later on. Some harfs that we're learning will have more than one meaning. It'll have a prominent meaning, and then it will have a secondary meaning as well sometimes as well. Okay, so al-kitab. Al-kitab means the book. Okay, now I'm going to take a harf of jar, which means ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila, one of them, and I'm going to put it before al-kitab. So if I say fi, fi is a harf of jar. What is it going to do to the word al-kitab? It's going to make it jar. So you don't say fil kitab, you don't say fil kitabu, you're going to say fil kitabi. So what's the meaning of fil kitabi?
In the book.
In the book. How do I say, what's the meaning if I say min?
From the
From the book. Okay. But now what's the issue with min? And we're going to do this in a moment. Min, how do I join min and al-kitab? I don't want to say min al-kitab.
Mina.
Good. Good. So the rule was, if you have two sukoons coming together and you want to join it up, it's either gonna take a dhamma, fatha, or a kasra. How do we decide? If it's got a kasra before it, then you put a fatha on there. If it was man, you would say manil, okay, or minal, okay. Now, if I said the word an, how would you join these two? Anil.
Anil.
Okay. Anil. Okay. Dhamma, we come on to Dhamma. It's usually with the pronouns. So when it's like home, this doesn't make sense, right? Home and kitab doesn't make sense. You would say humul. Humul. When is Dhamma before it? That's the only time you would put a Dhamma on that. But these are spelling rules and reading rules. So I think we have a lesson on them at some point. We have done some of them already, I think, earlier on. But so do we see what the harf jar does? It makes the next word jar, and it comes before an ism. Okay, so let me just take you back to this. So when we say jar majroor is how many words? two words. Like Ismul Ishara and Badal, Jar, Majroor is two words. What if there's a mad? When we come on to the mad, then we'll do it. Anil Kitab. So what was the fragment called? No, what was the fragment called that we're doing now? Jar Majroor. Okay. Jar, the word jar is referring to the first part, which is a harf jar. Majroor is referring to the ism that becomes jar. Okay. Jar is the first part. Majroor refers to the second part. Okay. So harf jar is the jar. Majroor is the word which becomes jar, or the second part. Okay. Now I want you to read the Surah Fatiha and tell me. I'll put it up there as well. You can tell me what you see there. Starting with the Basmala.
Bismillah is one as well.
Bismillahi.
It's joined, but it's like in the name of.
Yeah. So you've got a ba here. All right.
The
So now we're learning that the harf of jar ba, when you say ba ta kaf lam waw, the ba will always have a kasra on it. It would be b. You can learn it like b ta kaf if you want, but I just learned ba ta kaf. But I know the ba will have a kasra on it. So the word was ism, and it became ismi because of the ba. This one's a bit more tricky because there's something else going on here. Well, I want you to look at the word starting from Alhamdulillah. Alhamdu lillahi. Lillahi, is it one word or is it two words?
Two words is the lam.
It's two words. Two words. What are the two words?
Is it
I know we
lam
haven't,
and Allah?
because the word Allah is Allah, right? We're not saying Alhamdu Allahu, right? We're saying Alhamdu lillahi. So we've got a lam before the word Allah. Okay? It's Alhamdu lillahi. So ba ta kaf lam. Now we're learning the lam will have what haraka on it?
Kasra.
Kasra. Not jar. Jar doesn't apply to harfs. It applies to ism. It has a kasra on it. Now we have li and we have the word Allahu. So it's normally Allahu. When we add a lam to it, it becomes lillahi. Why did it become he? Because of the lam. Okay. So the way you write it, this is very tricky. The way you write it with the word Allah is really so when you look at it there, it's like the al's gone from it and you're adding the lam. We're going to cover the rule when it comes to lam. How do we write it? I won't do it in this lesson. I will do it next lesson. How do we do it with lam and then the next word has al? The way we write it becomes a bit different. But lillahi, the harf jar lam, what does it mean? Anyone know?
You what?
When we say, how do we know we translate Alhamdulillah?
Who praise to Allah or for Allah.
For, yeah. So lam has the meaning of belonging to. So all praise belongs to Allah. Okay, let's go through each one now. So the first one is ba, which we now know we read it as B with a kasra. And the meaning of the B, harf jar, has a few. It could mean with, could mean in, could mean by. So when we look at Bismillah, we say it means in the name of Allah, or with the name of Allah, or by the name of Allah. Could mean any. Okay. Now the harf jar ta is similar to the harf jar waw, which means both of them are used to say I swear by. But the harf jar ta can only be used for the word Allah. So when you say I swear by Allah, that's the only time you're gonna see the ta used. Tallahi. I don't think it's used by any with other words. Usually it's just ta and the word Allah. So tallahi. Tallahi. So ba, ta, kaf. Now this kaf, you might get this confused with which other type of kaf?
The one.
Yeah, the attached pronoun.
Yeah.
So remember we have huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum. Then you have the attached versions, hu huma hum, ha huma hunna, ka huma kum. Right? So for example, when we say kitabu kitabuka. Kitabuka is two words, right? Kitab and ka. This is an attached pronoun. What did we say about attached pronouns? They are attached
After the word.
at the end of the word. Okay? Whereas this ka that we're learning is going to be before the word. Okay? That's how you remember the difference. So this harf jar, this kaf, the meaning of this kaf is to liken one thing to another. So if you want to say he is like him, or he is like a lion in this example, you use the word kaf. I know this might feel a bit too much. I don't expect you to know the meanings of all these harf jars in one go. But with time, you will learn them, inshallah. So kaf is used to liken one thing to another. Okay? Huwa, so in this example, huwa ka asadin. So how many words are there in huwa ka asadin? 3 words, which are huwa, ka, and asad. Huwa is what type of word?
No.
Pronoun. Ka asadin. How do you break down ka asadin?
Ka.
Ka is a harf of jar.
Yeah.
Asadin is the ism. Together we call it jar majroor. And the meaning of ka is like, asad is lion. He is like a lion. Okay? This bit here, I'm going to come back to. I don't want to do this just yet. So in the note section, we'll come back onto that.
Ustadh,
Okay.
quick question. The word ka, in English, when we use a simile, we use as and like. So in Arabic, is it only the word ka, or do we use other
Yeah,
words
it's
as
just a
well?
ka. It is just a ka. Yeah. It is just a
Thank
ka.
you.
As far as I'm aware, I think it is just a ka. You have like the word like mithal as well. That's mentioned here. But we're not going to go into that. There's probably another way to say like in the Arabic language, or but I don't think they distinguish between metaphors and similes.
Thank you, Ustadh.
Okay, bata kaf lam. What's the meaning of lam? So we're gonna learn later on. For now, I just want you to ignore the note section and just listen to what I'm saying for now, and then the additions we will do next time. So for now, the lam, we're going to pronounce it as li, okay, with a kasra at the end. And it means belonging to. Okay, we're going to do some examples in a moment. Waw is used to swear by again, but with waw, you can swear by anything. Okay, whereas the ta, you could only swear by Allah. Waw, you can swear by anything you want. Okay. Min, we know the meaning. Min means from. Fi means in. An can mean about or with. It may have the meaning of min as well. Ala means on. Hatta means until. And ila means to. Okay, so with time, inshallah, you'll pick up the meanings. Yeah. So let's go through the exercises. Okay, then. So let's go through some exercises. So let's do some reading. So I'm not going to go through it together just yet. Go through it in your work booklets. I'll give you a couple of minutes and then we'll go through some of them together. Let's do the first one together and then I'll just give you an idea. Faisal, if you're online, if you could read number. So this is on page, so this is the work booklet. This is on page 21. Faisal, if you could read the first one. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly well.
القلم من الدكان.
القلم من الدكان. Good.
The pen is from the shop.
Yeah, the pen is from the shop. So where's the jar majroor?
jar majroor is دكاني.
That's
it's
incomplete. من الدكان, the whole thing, من الدكان will be
من
your
الدكان.
jar. So, but which part is your jar?
من
And الدكاني is the majroor.
Yeah.
القلم من الدكان. The pen is from the shop. How do I know where to put the is? What did we say last time?
When there's a break.
When there's a break in the chain, or when you can't connect the words. There's no connection between an al-qalam and min, is there? Right?
No.
Is there a connection between min ad-dukan? Min and ad-dukan was the connection? Jar majroor. So you translate them together, and where you don't find it connecting, put the is there. So al-qalam is from the dukan. Anyone know what the meaning of aina is?
Where?
Yeah.
Where? Aina means where.
It's Ghurfa room.
Ghurfa is room, yeah.
Where?
Has everyone got a system of learning the vocab?
Yeah.
What's everyone doing for the vocab? Everyone needs a system for the vocab. You need to be learning the vocab. Have a routine. I know there's a lot of things to memorize, but unfortunately, without memorization. You can't learn a language. So, but the whole purpose of these exercises is these words will repeat. Duolingo. That won't. You can't insert words in there yourself, can you?
No, you can't. It just repeats a lot of the words when
Repeats,
you
yeah. Yeah. So have a process of learning the words. Okay, Zishan, if you could do number 2.
أين الولد
Mhm.
هو في الغرفة. Is it where is the man? He's in the
Walad is boy.
boy. So
Yeah. He is in the
room.
room. And so in that one, where's the jar majrur?
في الغرفة.
في الغرفة. Yeah.
Can I?
Habib, do you want to do the next one?
ما على المكتب.
Mhm.
What is on the desk?
Yeah.
القلم على المكتب. The pen is on the desk. على المكتب.
على المكتب. So we've got على المكتب repeated twice. One in the question, one in the answer.
No.
What is on the desk? The pen is on the desk. على المكتب is your jar majrur. Okay, next person I'm gonna ask. Let me just learn all your names. All right, Shams, can you do number 4?
البيت كجامعة.
Okay.
The house is like a gathering. Jamia. I'm not sure what Jami'atin means.
You've got us, yeah, it's similar to gathering. Jamia is university.
The house is like a university.
Yeah. Al-baytu ka jami'atin. Meaning is quite big. Al-baytu ka jami'atin. Okay, so you see here, you see the harf jar, kaf, ka jami'atin. Okay, Fawzia, if you could do number 5. And if you're struggling with the meaning of fossil, someone can help you. But if you read it and then attempt it. Number 5.
إلى فصل.
إلى فصل. What's the meaning of fossil?
Wheat. I don't know.
Anyone know?
Class.
Classroom. So to a classroom. So this is not a sentence, by the way, right?
Yeah.
There's no sentence. It's just a fragment. إلى فصل.
Fascinating. In the classroom.
Now, I want someone to make this into a sentence using a verb. I want to say, I went to not a classroom, the classroom. How would anyone say that? How would I say I went to the classroom? How would I say to the classroom? Yeah, say that again.
ذهبت إلى الفصل.
Good. Who was that? Can recognize voices as well.
حسيب.
Ibrahim. Hazib. Is it Hazib or is it Ibrahim?
حسيب.
Hazib. Well done. Yeah, so it's the ذهبت
إلى الفصل.
إلى الفصل. Man, I couldn't get that right. Hamza, where are you? There we go. إلى الفصل. li. Right? ذهبت, I went. إلى الفصل, to the classroom. How would you say ikhlas? They went to the classroom. They masculine. Hum.
ذهبتم. No.
They.
أنتم ذهبتم.
So first of all, figure out when I say they, which pronoun am I saying? Hum. So you need the hum.
Oh, ذهبتم.
That's antum.
Yeah.
Hum. هو ذهب, هما ذهبا, هم
Oh, hum.
ذهبوا. ذهبوا
Okay.
إلى الفصل. How do I say she went?
ذهب.
Remember with she, I say at.
ذهبت.
Yeah, ذهبت.
Yeah.
Again, this is something that you need to practice. There you go. Let's go on to the next one. Some of these sentences don't really make sense. They do make sense, but it's just not the best sentences. It's just for the purpose of showing you what these harf jars are doing. So, for example, the next one, number 6, Ikhlas, if you could do that one.
والوالد.
والولد والولد
والولد المفتاح لحامد.
المفتاح لحامل.
Is it by the boy?
Yeah, or I swear by.
Okay, I swear by the boy. And then is it the key?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea for the last one.
Hamid. Hamid is a name. Li Hamidin. Li Hamidin. What's the li?
Belonging to.
Belongs. Or yeah.
Hamid.
The key belongs to
Hamid.
Hamid.
Okay.
Li Hamidin. So it's two words.
Okay, I swear.
Li and Hamid. I swear by the boy.
The
key belongs to the. So again, when do you swear by? When you're trying to prove a point, or you're trying to convince the other person.
You know, when it's translated in the Quran, you know, they just say by the something as opposed to.
Yeah.
It,
Sometimes they say I
swear.
swear. Sometimes they say I swear. You know, because in the Quran, it's Allah, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's not saying I swear by time wal asri.
Yeah.
But it's really implied that Allah
Yeah.
is the one who's wal asri.
No, I just meant, you know, that when you translate it,
Yeah.
you put in the.
You know, but when you say like by the boy,
yeah,
like it
sort of
doesn't
implies
it doesn't imply a custom.
Yeah.
When you say I swear by,
Yeah,
or you say
exactly.
wallahi,
Yeah.
how people say wallahi.
Yeah.
I swear by the boy that the key is with Hamid, or Hamid has the key.
Is it like what the
Yeah, watini, washamsi,
Why?
waduhaha, and so on. I don't know whether that meaning, if it implies the same, then you could probably translate it as that. To say the key is with Hamid, there's a different word you use for that. With means it's with him right now, right? Whereas Li is telling you that it belongs to him, but it's not necessarily with him. So, for example, you see it here, and you're debating whose key does it belong to. Then I say al-miftahu li Hamidin. Whereas if I say ain al-miftah, if I say where is the key, then you can say it is with. But you wouldn't use lam here. You would use a different word. Okay. Famida, if you could do number 7.
الدرس
Mhm.
عن الإسلام.
Yeah. الدرس عن الإسلام.
The lesson.
Yeah. An has a few meanings, but you guess the meaning here is about Islam.
Yeah.
The lesson is about Islam. So in Anil Islami, how do you describe Anil Islami as? Jar, Majroor. Which is the jar?
An.
And which is the Majroor? Al Islami. Good. Okay, and Hatta al Asri, how would I translate that?
Until
Yeah,
Asr.
until Asr, or until time, or until Asr, or until the time of Asr. Okay, number 9. That's a nice one. Who wants to read that?
He's a gentle believer.
So read the Arabic and then translate it. هو
هو لطيف بالمؤمنين.
هو
So
لطيف بالمؤمنين.
بالمؤمنين. So
Yeah.
he
So the
is
meaning is, yeah, he is gentle.
believer
Yeah, he is gentle. What's the meaning of the ba?
with.
Yeah, he is
He's
gentle
gentle with the believers.
with the believers. Now, when we look at bil mu'minina, the word al mu'minina, is it in the jar ending? Case ending?
Yes.
It is it? It's got a at the end.
Yeah, it's the plural.
It's the plural, so it is jar, right? So remember, Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, Muslimuna is your rafa, Muslimina is your nasb and your jar. So here is mu'minina, which is your nasb or jar, right? But here you can answer it is jar. So now it's no longer good enough to say it's nasb or jar. You have to give me a reason because you've got a reason now. You've got a ba. So it can no longer be nasb. It's jar. Okay. So bil mu'minina is your jar majroor. Okay, and then finally number 10.
هن
Hunna. Yeah, carry on. Yeah, you can read it.
هن في سبك
Yeah. Hunna fi suqi.
سبك
Yeah. So what's the meaning of hunna fi suqi?
They
Yeah.
are in the
They are, yeah, they are in the market. Okay. Fi suqi is your jar or majroor. Jar or majroor. This next one I'm not going to do. This is something that I want you to try and do as homework. Try and do it in your own time. And then we'll go through it in the beginning of next lesson. We'll go through this exercise. So I'm not going to do that at all. What I want you to do for now is go through these ayat, and I want you to highlight. So you can do this exercise. So highlight the jar majroor. You know, here in English it says the word preposition. That's the Arabic, the English term for harf jar.
What do you want us to highlight?
So find the jar majroor. So highlight the jar majroor.
He, is he on any one or the first one?
No, so it's in each one there should be one.
Yeah, في خلق. Oh,
Yeah, في خلقي. في خلقي is one. Here wal ardi isn't. Okay, this is something else going on here. This is not waw al qasam. Where do you normally find the waw of qasam, the waw of swearing when you say I swear by? You normally find it in the beginning of the sentence, not in the middle. So that's why this waw is not that one, it's something else. Okay, so in the first one, fi khalqi is your jar majroor. In the second one,
عن الإحسان
عن الإحسان. Yeah. فأخبرني عن الإسلام. أخبرني عن الإيمان. So on. So عن الإسلام. About إحسان. Okay, number 3.
من حسنه.
من حسني.
من حسني. Yeah, من حسني. It's a nice hadith as well. But with time, you will be able to translate that all by yourself. Min husni Islam al-mar'i, from the beauty of the Islam of a person is that he leaves ma la yani, that which he does not concern him. Okay, number 4.
في زجاجة.
Yeah, fi zujajatin. This is probably the easiest fragment that you can identify, along with the Ismul Ishara and Badal, but this is really easy. Because you know what the harf jars are. Bata, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Anytime you see them, most likely, not all the time, you'll see the next word has a jar. There's 1 or 2 exceptions, but we'll come on to the exceptions. And the last one? For me, can you tell me for the last one, which one, if there's any?
There's 2.
Yeah, which ones?
Min ju.
Yeah.
And min khawf.
Yeah, so what's the meaning of min? From. Good. What do you think the meaning of min ju and min khawf? Min khawf, you know, right? From khawf, you know what I mean?
Khawf, yeah.
From. What's the meaning of khawf? Fear. From khawf, right? And ju is? Anyone know? Hunger. Yeah, hunger. وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ. Right, I don't want to do more of this. What I want you to do is, for now, I just want to go through some Quran and then we'll continue next. I think we finished these 2 fragments really well. And inshallah, Ramadan, you have to go through it all. I just want to focus on a bit of Quran for now.
Are you having lessons in Ramadan?
There won't be classes. No, there won't be any classes. But like I said, if anyone needs help with like revision, then we'll do that. I don't want to start anything new in Ramadan. You're already exhausted in Ramadan and you want to spend time in Ibadah as well. But also dedicate some time for revision. So I can do these extra sessions then as well if needed. All right, the only thing I want to cover now, let me just write on here. I don't want to be typing it. You could all see that, right?
You need to make it a bit bigger.
It lets me. It's not letting me make it bigger.
If you just zoom into the page.
I'll do it like that. It's a bit blurry, but hopefully you can see it. So the harf jar, ala. What's the meaning of ala? Upon. So we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin, right? So Muhammadin is Muhammadin because of the ala. Okay? But when we look at the word, when we say Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim, why do I say ala Ibrahima and not ala Ibrahimi?
So mabni or partially mabni, it doesn't take.
No, not mabni. Mabni is not the right word.
No, it's like partially, like
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You need to come up with the right word.
Yeah, it's on the same page. It doesn't take all 3 endings.
What do we call it?
Partly
decline. Well, you hadn't. It's called mamnu min asar, which basically means it doesn't take all 3 endings. So you have words which take all 3 endings. Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin. Then you have words which only take 1 ending, right? So like Musa, Musa, Musa. The ending doesn't change. Then you have some words which have only 2 endings and they don't take a un sound at the end. So Ibrahimu is going to be Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, Ibrahima. Ibrahimi does not exist. So these are words. So partly declinable words are words which don't take a tanween and words which don't take a kasra. So they only have 2 endings.
A lot of people say Durud Ibrahimi.
That's different.
Is that
That's
the same?
different. The
Okay.
word Ibrahim in that when you're saying it is different. Ibrahimi. It's not Ibrahim. There's a different ending of Ibrahim there. So we say Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, Ibrahima, and we discussed. Remember, we learned about 5 categories of words which are partly declinable. From them were feminine names, right? Fatima, Fatimatu, Fatimata, Fatimata. Yeah, غير منصرف. So what other words are غير منصرف or partly declinable?
Say non-Arabic word names.
Non-Arabic names, yeah.
Places.
Names of places that don't have an L. Words on the pattern of أكبر, أفعل, أجمل, أحمد, أحسن, أطول, and so on. So those on that pattern, they will always have U at the end, not a un. That's why we say ala Ibrahima, not ala Ibrahim. Okay? All right, let's just do one quick one from Quran and then let's finish off with that. Let's go towards the end, the last few surahs. Okay. قل أعوذ برب الناس.
برب.
بربي. Yeah. So that's your jar majroor. So I seek refuge in, or with, you could say with the Rabb of the people. In the Rabb of the people. Any other jar majroors in that? Min, so say the whole thing. Min sharri. So min sharri only. Min sharri. From the evil. Okay? Min sharri. Anything else?
في صدورهم.
Fi suduri. In, what's the meaning of sudur? Plural of sadr. Chests. In the chests. Any more?
الجنة.
Yeah, min al jannati. So you're seeing these harf jars everywhere. You've got ba, you've got min, you've got fi, right? Same with Surah Falaq as well. You see that there.
Good question. You know, in Surah Nas, just go down where it says min al jannati, and you got one nas.
Yeah.
Would you still say the harf majrur is min al jannati, but not the one nasi?
You would say min al jannati only, and then you would say an nasi is connected to min.
Okay.
But like you know, with grammar, when you're describing things, you have to although it's really min al jinnati and wa min an nasi. That's what it's implying. But we have the way we describe it in Arabic is like we say this is the jar majroor and this is waw wal atf. This means waw, which is the connecting waw, and an-nas is connected to al-jannah or sorry, not jannah, al-jannah. But yeah, we'll come on that later. Let's see if there's any more. Now, this is your. I'm gonna ask you on your past tense and your present tense and your jar majroor. So tell me in the Surah Kafirun whatever you see. And once we're good with present tense, I'll come back to this ayah. So first of all, look at whether you see any harf jars or jar majroors. They are there, but maybe we haven't covered it in detail.
ما تعبدون
Yeah, what's ma ta'budun? Actually, leave this surah, but I want you to maybe next week we'll go through this surah. Okay, there's quite a few harf jars in there that we don't see just yet. They're there, but we haven't covered one or two things yet. So we're gonna come back to this surah. So remind me next week.
Is the lam written differently?
Yeah. So when it's with a pronoun, it's written differently.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna do that next time. The only thing I wanted to cover, where's the ayah gone? Okay, have a look at this one, Surah Quraysh. Do you see anything there?
Page 2. Page 4.
Sorry, which one?
لإيلاف.
Li ilafi. Yeah. Li ilafi. Yeah, that's one.
Safety.
Where are you looking?
Second ayah.
Yeah, you can, but there's not. No. What Saifi isn't here?
No.
So waw al qasam. Remember, the waw of swearing comes in the beginning.
Minju.
Minju.
Major.
Minju. And then wamin.
Khawf.
Khawfin. There you go. Okay. All right, inshallah. I think we're gonna stop here. So the homework is go through the English to Arabic, and we'll cover a few more things from this chart that we haven't covered. So the notes section, we're going to cover that next time a bit. So I think the next two lessons are probably going to be on Jar Majroor, because as we have got quite a bit to cover on this. And I think that will that should be it, inshallah. All right, any questions from anyone? So try and, go through this, apply it to Quran, because you will start seeing this everywhere. Okay, so there's no questions, we will stop here. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.